Salutations, my friends. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Factions of Freedom. I'm actually going to be restreaming an episode that we did earlier, actually just now, for some weird reason. As always, there's some kind of issue with my systems. But you guys aren't here to hear that. You're here to hear the episode. So, with that being said, let's let it play.
Live.
Awesome.
We are live. Stand by. Everybody, and welcome to this edition of 3 Minutes to Midnight. My name is Lori Alexander, and I'm joined today by a special co-host. Hi, EJ.
Hi, Lori.
Hi, EJ Clinton from Factions of Freedom is joining us today. EJ, I got to play our intro that we had prepared months and months and months ago, and I haven't had a chance to use. So I just played it and kind of debuted it for everybody. You know, between you and I got to play. Between you and Robbie, I have such great co-hosts. I love you both, and I thank you for joining us today.
Always a pleasure joining you. Isn't it crazy going back, reminiscing on old work?
Yeah, right. And it seems like it's been, it's been a few months we've been doing this. So anyways, I just want to, before we start out, I want to do a couple announcements. Change in the lineup for the show, upcoming show for tomorrow night. Those of you that have been following me knew that Douglas Dwayne Dietrich, former Department of Defense and CIA whistleblower, was going to join us. But unfortunately, as most of you know, that we've had a death in the family. And so I've had to reschedule that interview for next Sunday, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, October 2nd. I want to thank Mr. Dietrich for very graciously and rescheduling this for me, and for the kind, oh my goodness, the kind words that he sent me. It's just amazing. This man is, you guys, I can't tell, you guys are going to absolutely love this man. Also, I want to remind everybody there's been a change in our chat room, for security issues. We want to offer a safe place for our viewers to come and participate without the chances of attacking. You'll notice that we have mods 1, mods 2, right up to, I think we have a mod 7 now. But we want to make sure that you guys have a very pleasurable and, a good experience here in our chat room. So that's been implemented for your safety. And remember, please be respectful. And remember that being in anybody's chat room is a privilege and not a right. So with that being said, also, I was aware, I was live last night, guys. I woke up to so many messages this morning going, how come you're, yes, Scott has my permission to go live when I'm sleeping, because I have to do that, guys. I have to sleep. So
Oh, sleep. Oh, don't say that.
Yeah. Hi, Robbie D's Robbie D in the house. So yeah, I had to. I had to make sure that we have 24-hour coverage. Hi, Rob. So yes, I was aware that I was live last night. Scott was managing the show and everything. So, so we have Robbie D and we have EJ Clinton, and today we're going to talk to you guys about some things that are happening in the news that not too many people are aware of. Why don't you tell us what we're going to talk about today, EJ?
Pretty much what I would consider, more evidence of Babylon collapsing, with the pipelines, the chaos, all that nonsense.
Yeah.
If you want like a more expanded version of it, I mean, sorry to kind of break it down, but what we're looking at basically is effects of Agenda 2030 going into play here in America, here in our own borders. I mean, the idea that we can have and we'll get into this later on, 215 million gallons of irradiated water on Florida. And then in North Dakota, the protesters, the eco defenders, being proven right that is illegal construction. They're making they're building pipelines on Indian burial grounds, all kinds of stuff like that. And then simultaneously down in the South, 3 states go into a state of emergency. There's no coincidence, that all that happens, a few months or a few days. I think we're 44 days outside from the election.
Right.
So all of that kind of plays into play, if you ask me, on a higher plane of things like Agenda 2030.
Right. And for people who don't know what Agenda 2030 is, it's Agenda 21 on steroids, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, you mentioned something that I don't think too many people are aware of. What's going on with this irradiated water in Florida? Tell us about that.
Yeah. I think 4 days ago, an article had come out on IntelliHub I saw, but apparently the accident had happened a month prior to that. The company, I think it was Mosaic, the company in Mulberry, Florida, they had known about the spill and it was still leaking, but they didn't want to alarm the public. I mean, especially like I said, with the stuff that was going on in North Dakota with the Dakota Access Pipeline. But yeah, like I said, 4 days ago, September 20th, 215 million gallons of radioactive water threatened the drinking water in Florida. And I have the article right here if you want me to go over it.
Yeah, go ahead. And, I'll put you up on the screen.
Oh, crap. I'm reading.
Or not. That's okay.
Yeah, no.
You don't have to.
I'm reading on the iPad.
Okay,
I don't know what's going
that's
on
fine.
with my.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, Mulberry, Florida is now home to a giant sinkhole that has caused 215 million gallons of radioactive water to leak into the state's supply of drinking water. The contamination occurred when a sinkhole appeared at a phosphate fertilizer plant near Tampa, which damaged the stack where wastewater was stored. This filtered into the state's aquifer system, which supplies water to residents, making the water contain, and I'm sure I'm going to pronounce this wrong, phosphogypsum. Phosphogypsum is classified as a slightly radioactive and is a byproduct of the creation of fertilizer. This is due to the naturally occurring uranium and radium in the phosphate ore. The contaminated water also flows into springs used for activities like snorkeling and swimming. Mosaic, the fertilizer company responsible for the contamination, has kept this sinkhole leak concealed for the better part of 3 weeks. So yeah, like before they knew about this spiel, the whole spiel. Yeah, they knew about this whole spiel 3 weeks prior before they let this go, before they alerted the public.
Okay. EJ, before you go any further, Dave has a question for you. You guys speak loud.
EJ, did you say Orlando, Florida?
Mulberry, Florida, near Tampa.
Oh, it is near Tampa.
Yes, sir.
Okay. But there are some major amusement parks in the Tampa area, like Busch Gardens.
Oh yeah.
Is that? Do you guys know if that's anywhere near, say, maybe Disney World?
Disney's an hour and a half away near Orlando.
Yeah.
Well, if they can irradiate as many people as they can in that area, sure they'd have gone for a month if they could have got away with it,
Right. Up on the screen, I have the report. It says news reports indicated that Mosaic, the owner of the mine, and state officials have known about this problem for 3 weeks, but failed to notify the public.
3
Wow.
weeks.
And it says the sinkhole formed below. Wait a minute. Whoa. Hold on a second. The sinkhole formed below a phosphogypsum stack, which is a pile of radioactive waste hundreds of feet tall, produced by phosphate mining, and is in this case may pose a serious threat to drinking water for millions of Floridians. Guys, 3 weeks they've known about this.
Right.
Mining.
Yeah. I did say mining.
How do you mine anything in a state where the average elevation is 15 feet?
It says waste hundreds of feet tall, produced by phosphate mining. I'm reading it right here. EcoWatch.
Crazy.
I'm not sure. You know what's even more crazy, and I kind of want to just throw this out here just to kind of get it on record, you know, with this pipeline bursting, the Dakota Access Pipeline, and then what I think other people are going to start making a connection to as well is this thing called the Sabine or the Sabal Trail Pipeline, and it's in Florida too, which is crazy.
Right. Just before we go on, I want to read this part to you. It says radioactive phosphogypsum is produced during phosphate mining when sulfuric acid is applied to phosphoric ore, releasing naturally occurring uranium and radium. Besides leaving massive piles of radioactive waste, this process produces radon gas in the air, which is cancer causing. Holy crow.
See, if you see,
I'm going to put the link in the chat room for you guys to take a look at that. Wow. What's happening right now with this sinkhole? Hello? How are they? What's going on? What are they doing now?
I haven't heard anything develop so far. I mean, I think they're just now starting to get out there and report it, but other than declaring a state of emergency, because I think they already have in Florida, I don't think they've done anything. I don't think they've talked about any kind of any kind of disposal treatment, any kind of waste removal, anything of that. Like, I think they're just kind of keeping it on the hush hush.
No major alerts on the mainstream media, but they'll still focus in on people that won't stand for the national anthem and make a thing out of that instead.
Right.
Clearly.
And now we've got Brangelina, taking center stage.
Yeah.
So all of this to keep us away from real issues, which are right now, it seems to be this water issue in Florida and the pipeline.
Yeah.
Well, check this out.
Your minted lamb's glowing in the dark, but that's okay. We won't talk about it.
Yeah.
Check this out. 3 days before, I had posted up another article from Countercurrent News where they're saying that the Army Corps of Engineers approves yet another illegal pipeline through endangered ecosystems, right? And this is before, before that pipeline burst, or at least before I had known that pipeline in Mulberry, Florida had burst. But the article goes like this. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has okayed the final permits for the Sabal Trail, a pipeline that traverses through environmentally sensitive parts of north central Florida. The U.S. EPA estimated that some 1,200 acres would be destroyed or impacted during construction. Later, the agency changed the projection to less than 900 acres. Then the EPA changed their minds and dropped the significant environmental concerns over the project that included whether the potential for sinkholes and damage to the aquifer had been downplayed by the Sabal Trail and the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. In some cases, the EPA claimed impacts to wetlands are considered temporary, and by temporary meaning it can only be 50 years to revegetate. To the complete Sabal Trail project would be a 3.2 billion 516 mile with a 3-foot wide pipeline trail that will move around 1 billion cubic feet of the natural gas daily from Alabama through southern Georgia and Florida. So this actually could have been them constructing this pipeline, and then, they might have hit the pipeline over there in Mulberry while constructing this one, or starting early construction, and then, subsequently causing all this irradiated water to flow into Florida. Because didn't Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, didn't they all end up subsequently declaring states of emergency?
Well, the state of Alabama is in a state of emergency right now. The governor has issued that. And here's the thing about that is that we covered this last week when it first happened, and the governor has raised the hours, the legal hours of operation for these tanker drivers. And there really should be no reason why the people in this area are seeing such a shortage right now. We've got reports that many of the gas stations are without gasoline. The prices have been hiked up. they're essentially putting these people into the sort of, 1970s/1980s, gas shortage panic in this area. And there's really no reason for it because, I mean, this is only one pipeline that really doesn't, I mean, it's a big pipeline, but it's not really a major issue here. And that all of this is manufactured. All this gas shortage scare is manufactured at this point.
Like I said, I feel like it's a controlled collapse. It's evidence of it's evidence of them, falling in accordance with the Agenda 2030 mindset, with the climate change, Paris Climate Accord, the whole COP21 meeting. I mean, just the other day, Obama came out and, even though he downplayed Americans, saying that we need to abide by our global agreements, this is him still pushing towards that. This is him alleviating towards that whenever we have our country over here going through economic crisis and, geological turmoil. He's saying that we need to abide by our global agreements.
Isn't it amazing how it's we always have to abide by our global agreements when it fits their agenda, but they can pretty much put every agreement or treaty or whatever aside when it suits their agenda also. It's that amazing.
Right.
Yeah, fellow Americans, we've got to keep the international order. We might be falling into the volcano, but we've got to keep the agreements. But wasn't it amazing how that, he kept with that lawyeristic double talk that he's worse than George Bush,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Double speak, how he kind of slipped into the conversation that, basically, we got to go for one world government, basically. You got to give up all your rights, a little bit of your rights here and there kind of thing, but that's okay. We know what we're doing. Trust us.
Exactly. Yeah, he's definitely turned into the neuro-linguistic programming king there, but only if he has it on the screen before him, because he can't talk for crap if he doesn't have it. So
he can't for the brain surgery that he's had. That's why he's a teleprompter.
He is the teleprompter NLP king there, but
yeah, he is the teleprompter president. That's for sure.
Seriously, you can always. I absolutely think it's a enjoyment when his prompter goes down and he's just like
the derp kicks in fierce whenever he can't read
it. Between him and Hillary, it's like Tweedledee and Tweedledummer.
Yeah, well, we're not.
It's so true. It's so true. Well, I whenever I was looking at the whole state of emergency concept, like, think about this. Obama's done all this chaos with a smile on his face. Hillary's over here like hacking away, having like heart palpitations, brain aneurysms, have seizures, all kinds of other things like this. There is no way, with the country in as much turmoil as it is, that Hillary, with her half-dead robotic self, would be able to put her hands around this. Is Dave okay? Is Dave okay?
He's having a Hillary moment.
Oh, he's Hillary.
No. He's flip-flopping again. Look at his googly eyes.
You and your flip-flops. I got your flip. Okay, we get it. It's funny. So you're absolutely right. I mean, there's no way. I mean, at this point, come on, EJ, we don't even know she's alive.
Dude, my whole thing, like, with George Soros and David Rockefeller, I'm like, how many clones do they have in queue? Because I know these, they don't last long. I'm sure these soulless evil demons, I'm sure they use bodies and body parts, on the regular. I don't know if this is a real person.
I don't know if this is some kind of mind control or whatever, but do you feel like, you don't talk about her, but she's like a bad smell. She always crops up in the conversation somewhere. You know what I mean?
I know. Mm-hmm. She's like a bad penny. She just keeps showing up.
Well, she represents, the establishment, like the evil, just seedy, grimy, like disgusting part of like government, the part that no one wants to be affiliated with, the crooked side.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. She's the whole Babylon 2.0.
She is the perfect symbol. I made that connection in one of my videos. I was talking about how, she is the perfect representation, emblematic of the whore Babylon, drunk off the blood of innocence. I mean, we already know that, like, she's getting way more tail than Bill Clinton. You know, she's out there like a supporter of Margaret Sanger. So you know she's about abortion. Like, she is the perfect symbol of the whore Babylon. I mean, who knows how many people she's in bed with? Like,
well, in Caligula's time, you know, she's. I mean, like, she didn't do herself any favors the other day with her 58-second tirade on some conference call that she was doing to some of her donors at some live video conference. She was actually shouting down the mic. Yeah, she was actually at a rally, and could you imagine her for 4 years in the White House shouting to people down the microphone? You know, thinking she's somewhere else because of her Parkinson's just kicked in at the wrong moment.
Well, see, that's why I'm trying to figure out where they're trying to use Hillary in the grander scheme of things. You know, she's like, I'm not endorsing Trump. Well, this is not a Trump paid for advertisement. I'm saying, I'm not going to put my faith in a Trump card, but I also am very well aware that they're going to use Hillary's sickness as some kind of scapegoat as well. Will this be a way for Obama to maintain his presidency? Will he just join the UN as the Secretary General and basically hand down orders to America?
The talk of the day now is that there could be a possibility of a double assassination, both of them. Wouldn't that throw a spanner in the works?
See, yeah. And then boom, that's whenever that. If you ask me, I feel like that would be one of those triggering authoritarian moves. Like right after everything would just shut down. We're right. We basically are right there. I mean, they're handing over the control of the internet next month. So there's definitely like a lot of stuff that works in synergy when you look at it, and it's crazy. It's crazy to think about that this is like our reality, but unless we like face it head on and look at like what they're planning now and for the future, there's no way that we can combat it. That's just how I feel.
Well, I mean, if you look at it at a predictive on a predictive angle, I mean, this is biblical with what they're doing to the planet, to the realm. I call it a realm. I can't call it a planet, but that's another story.
No, that's good.
At the end of the day, we know that a third part of the sea life is going to be gone, and there's an extinction level event going on with most of the animals in the world. Every day there's a new species that is disappearing off the map that nobody wants to talk about. And well, at the end of the day, if they're going to introduce an antichrist figure onto the scene that's going to sort out all the problems that they created in the first place using technology and a lot of double speak and whatnot, that just fit perfectly into their 2030 agenda.
No, you're perfect, dude. You're right on point, brother.
Thank you.
I'm a screen right there, like what you're talking about. I feel like we're being terraformed. Us being able to lead in a show about how earlier this week that 215, not even this week, last month, 215 million gallons of irradiated water spilled into the water. We're being terraformed if you look at it. I mean, through the chemtrails, the modification of like I said, our geological properties, the geoengineering, the socio-engineering to some degree, the vaccines, how they're forcibly, changing and altering our DNA. And that's why I'm realm, Robbie, because that's exactly what it is they're trying to keep us tied here to this realm, to this time span, and it's stuff that they're doing ultimately like this, poisoning our body, altering our DNA, and messing with genetics on a massive scale like this. I feel like the only way you really could describe it is terraforming.
Yeah, absolutely. It's frightening on the scale that they're performing it. I mean, once with Jeff Hayes' book, the Rise of the New World Order, in the chapters that they goes on about global warming and HARP and all that stuff. When you read it in context, it's very frightening.
Sorry, because we
Sorry, somebody just rang me in the middle of yeah, it's frightening on the levels that they're doing this, and nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. You know.
That is for sure. I was talking earlier today about how, you know, it's to the point now to where I feel like I have to do one of those shows where I explain like how CERN is pulling in spirits from like an alternate dimension, and how through things like transhumanism, synthetic biology, human animal hybrids, whatever, that kind of talk, how they're basically creating and materializing different demons. Like, and it's wild, clearly, but because we're at this point in time, you know, the evidence is there. There's nothing else I can say. You know, if this is what's being disclosed with the white papers, if this is what we're able to put together now, you know, and we're able to see evidence of some kind of terraforming aspect occurring, you know, logical conclusion would only bring you to what I would figure is like a reasonable statement.
Well, no, and you're not going to hear none of this on the mainstream media. At the end of the day, nobody believes the mainstream media. People are waking up. People that don't even know any of this, they know one thing for sure: you're not going to get the truth on your television screen. And I mean,
nope.
The perfect example is Donald Trump, right? If they didn't want Donald Trump to win, what they should have done was endorse him, right? The very fact that they've actually gone against him has actually gone in his favor, yeah? Because at the end of the day, who's going to vote for Hillary Clinton? No one. Nobody likes Hillary Clinton. No one's ever going to vote for Hillary Clinton. Nobody even turns up to their rallies, but the mainstream media are plugging her as the next great white hope. Yeah, and just like, hello, what's wrong with that picture? You know, and it's just absolutely ridiculous, you know. And the fact of the matter is, you're not going to get any truth off the weather channel, and that's why the elite bought the weather channel, because they will constantly lie to you about the state. You know, it's that goes into that song. I don't care what the weatherman says if the weatherman says it's raining. But don't listen to CNN, because you're not going to get the truth about which way the wind's blowing. You know.
And that's it. Like, and this is how simple I can put stuff down for people if they really want to know what's going on. Hit YouTube, type in Illuminati conspiracy, and watch some of those crazy, like, 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long videos. They do a great job of summarizing it. Pay attention to the news, look at different things, because it happens in waves. They can't just unleash all of this nonsense in 1 week. They have to do it different ways at different parts where different agendas are going on. And if you get confused, huh?
Called incrementalism.
Yeah, if you get confused, go back and.
Yeah, it's a proverbial frog in the pot, you know.
Mm-hmm.
For about a year now, every Saturday without fail, it's almost religiously, I will listen to geoengineeringwatch.org on it's on YouTube. Dane Whittington, he's got a Facebook page as well. It makes for sobering listening, let me tell you that. You know, he tells it like it is. He tells you about the state of the world, and according to the ecosystem collapse, how the elite are just systematically destroying the planet. But as I said, if they want to bring an antichrist figure onto the scene to solve all the world's problems that they created, the perfect Hegelian dialectic, you know, the problem, reaction, solution, they're going about it the right way.
They have to stoke us right now. Like you guys said, the incrementalism, the whole boiling frog, boiling pot, boiling crab situation, where they're stoking up, incrementally raising the temperature of how things are. I mean, like I said, 10, 20 years ago, I don't feel like we would have all this craziness, you know, maybe not in this frequency, but because they've ratcheted things up on their end. And I mean, you can either track it through post 9/11, you can look at it through Ferguson, you can look at it from whatever event, but there's so many different ways you can tell, you know, they're coming out, they're doing more, they're advancing their agendas, they're going on the offensive. And that's why shows like ours are really picking up. You know, that's why so many different people know already, like, hey, I can't trust anything the media is saying because it's just going to be a lie. I have to find a way to get uncensored, good and decent information, and that's where we come into play, because we are people who sat there and watched thousands of those crazy YouTube videos before they got taken down, and put together, put the research forward, advance the research, advance what they're saying. That's all.
Did we lose?
You're breaking up a bit there, yeah, but you're absolutely right. If it wasn't for YouTube, I wouldn't be sitting here now. You two great people talking about the stuff that I watched. The biggest thing about the internet, I don't think they quite underestimated the power of people waking up to the information exchange that has been going on a so-called global scale, and it has been their downfall, really. I mean, obviously they wanted people to wake up so they could actually call us crazy conspiracy theorists to try and blow it out of the water, but unfortunately, they underestimated the actual intelligence levels of some people to be able to comprehend and join the dots and be able to go from A to B to Z and being able to tell the other people. I mean, I was actually speaking to somebody an old friend of mine, a guy called, I used to call him, his nickname was Chimp, and that was a funny name for a white guy. Yeah. In fact, at one time I was actually living in his house. I haven't spoke to him since 1996, and he wanted to know what I was up to. So I spent an hour explaining it to him in detail, and his jaw hit the floor. I mean, the stuff, when you're talking to somebody for the first time about this stuff, you can sound a bit crazy, but if you can articulate it in the right way. And he was like, wow, tell me more, show me more. So I sent him the movie that woke me up. Yeah, Illuminati, the movie. Yeah, I said, you watch that? Yeah, that will tell you exactly what I'm going on about. You know what I'm saying? And the power of the internet. Yeah, and just hope that enough people wake up in the month that we got left before they actually hand over the keys, so to speak.
Exactly. I mean, you're right. Without YouTube, I don't think a lot of us would be, where we are today. Once the internet and the information highway opened up, we've got access to all kinds of information now. And if you guys look at those videos, they can call them conspiracy theories, but most of them have now come to fruition throughout the years. And the term conspiracy theorist was actually coined in the 1960s by the elite. It was a label that was well, here, let me just give you what the term is off the internet. It says conspiracy theory is a term that once strikes fear and anxiety in the hearts of most every public figure, particularly journalists and academics. Since the 1960s, the label has become a disciplinary device that has been overwhelmingly effective in defining certain events off limits to inquiry or debate. I think
it's meant to dissuade us.
Yeah, I think the actual term itself is this definition is very revealing.
Yeah, well, we live in a false matrix based on a fear-based reality of that. What's more fearful than watching your president having his brains blown out in front of the whole world, and then having the effort to cover it up and try and sweep it under the table and blame the other guy, while looking the other way. It's pro-tal.
I think that we're actually, if you want to get technical, or you want a technical term or a more fitting term for us, we're more fringe theorists.
Yes.
Yep.
We're conspiracy analysts.
I feel like it's to a point now, where they have so much stuff out there, they really can't even hide it.
Right.
Like it's to a point now to where they try to cover it up, they try to dissuade it, but there's so many different ways to just like correlate it, and it is because of things like the internet that we're able to get the message out and have the perspective.
Right, and there's people like, Douglas Duane Dietrich, who is former DOD and former CIA, who's now whistleblowing. So, I mean, it's hard to keep things a secret. I always come back to the old saying, 3 people can keep a secret when 2 are dead.
True.
True. So, yeah. And, people, ignorance is a choice in this age of information.
That's how I feel these days. If you can't put 2 and 2 together, you're missing.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, all right. Here, do you guys want to get back to point instead of
Mm-hmm. Yep. Back on point.
Back on point.
Back on point.
So did we just drive down another rabbit hole?
All the time. All the time.
All the time.
Because, and this is why I love it whenever people pay attention in the chat room, or people are paying attention on Facebook or Instagram, is because they send us messages, they let us know whenever we're falling off topic. But this is good, because this plays into, if you ask me, the larger agenda of social engineering, of, like I said, with geoengineering, if you want to look at it through the chemtrail aspect, or through the GMO food aspect, all of these different things, they're basically used to numb us down to what's really going on.
Right.
It's like whenever we look at it, that's why it literally blows my mind that last week, we had the construction of the Dakota Access Pipeline cease. We had the state of emergency in Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, the pipeline in Florida, and the protests or riots in North Carolina.
Now North Carolina's under a state of emergency.
In one week.
So, I mean, look at, we've got what, 6 states in a state of emergency. Guys, here's the thing.
I forgot about the bombings.
Emergency is just another term for martial law.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. So when they call a nationwide state of emergency, run for the hills.
Right. Exactly. And I want to remind. Right. And hold on a second. And I want to remind people, executive order. Hold on.
So is it an HB1 something?
Under executive order 11921. Okay. Executive order 11921 provides that when a state of emergency is declared by the president, Congress cannot review the action for 6 months. Guys, you got to remember that. Okay. So even, if for some reason, and we just had the shooting last night up in Washington State. So, I mean, here's another thing, and the killer's still on the loose. This could be another, catalyst for yet another state going into a state of emergency.
But has your country been in a state of emergency since, like, what, 1913 or something like that?
Well, yeah. Well, we've been under martial law, but here's the thing: is people don't realize that under the executive orders, Rex 84, continuity of government, Operation Cable Splicer, Operation Garden Plot, all of those take place when martial law goes into effect. And it says right here, Executive Order 11921, it provides that when a state of emergency is declared by the President, Congress cannot review the action for 6 months. That's scary right there. That's a long time. So, God forbid if something happens before the elections, we're looking at 6 months. We're looking at from November to May that we could have.
Well, see, this is why I check out what's going on in France too, because this same situation happened where it wasn't around election time, but they were having consistent terror attacks, and that's whenever Francois Hollande was just like, state of emergency. I'm just going to have troops on the street for a while, and then he extended it another 3 months, and then another 3 months, and then I think we're still in the same duration of the second iteration of the time that he did it, to where he just extended the state of emergency because, well, it's not safe here.
Isn't this how the French Revolution started? I mean, that started out as a peaceful protest, and look how that
right.
I mean, that's how they introduced the guillotine. Yeah, come on, people, you need to wake up now and realize what's going on. The same people that
Speaking of guillotines, you can say it's a conspiracy theory. You can say that it's not true. You can say whatever you want. But the fact remains there is 30,000 guillotines stored in both North Dakota and Georgia here in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
And they have brought in those foreign troops. Those are the ones that are going to be manning them. Not going to be American troops. It's going to be the foreign troops that are going to be in there because they're going to have no conscience. To them, we are the enemy. To them, they have no relation. So
this is the brick wall. Yeah, this is the brick wall that you hit when they say, "Oh, well, they can't do that. They wouldn't do that." No, they listen. At the end of the day,
let me remind you. When people say that they can't happen here, let me remind people that during World War II, there was internment camps that housed Japanese Americans, citizen, unlawfully. Okay, they were called internment camps. Go ahead and you guys research it. During World War II, the United States government did it to their own people. These people were American citizens. Just because they had Japanese, ancestry, they were rounded up and put in internment camps. You think it can't happen here? Let's talk to the American Indians. Let's talk to them. They live on internment. They were rounded up. They were put on land.
In their own country.
Because you don't have a wire fence around you doesn't mean that you're not in some sort of internment camp. Can it happen here? Yes. Has it happened here? Yes. We don't learn from our history. We're bound and determined to repeat it.
Speaking of FEMA, I think it was sometime in March, April, or August. I'm not sure. But they had reactivated their civilian corps, or quietly activated their civilian corps. It was all in the hush hush. They secret. It was pretty much akin to Tom Clancy's The Division, to where all kinds of people from all kinds of different walks of life were basically told to go to their civilian community centers, get their FEMA directed orders, and to start acting. I hadn't heard anything on that as far as if they're making any detainments or anything like that, or if they're taking people to FEMA camps. But then on the side, a few weeks later, or a few weeks ago, we had also seen how the CDC were given the authority to detain people for what they would consider any reason, and I know they do this quietly on the hush already, but the fact that, it's coming out in the news, that's what trips me out.
Right. When the mainstream media picks up on something, you really have to take a step back and look at it.
Yeah. Come to the FEMA camp. Come and get your free flu shot. Yeah, come and get a vaccine for whatever it is that you haven't got.
I'm at the point now to where I'm about to start making vaccine pamphlets, handouts, whatever you want to call it, man. I'm willing to put my name brand on talking smack about these vaccines and how they're killing people, because it's ridiculous, dude. I mean, you can't have kids that literally grow up, experience life to 6 or 8 years, and then go in to get a HPV shot or something like that. I don't even know, whatever the CDC recommends at the time, chemically intoxicate your child and then mentally neuter them.
Well, it's a Margaret Sanger wet dream. I mean, at the end of the day, if you've got a population of autistic kids running around, what are they not doing? They are not reproducing. Yeah.
Right.
There you go. You've got your eugenics program there, right on the go. I mean, the Vaxxed movie, I don't know if you've seen it, but we for a little while, I actually uploaded it up to the Illuminati site. I did actually take it down because at the end of the day, they're trying to make some money off it to be able to distribute it around worldwide and nationwide. But for a while, we put it up and I watched it, and it is really sobering.
It is very sobering. It is very sobering what they're doing to us. They're systematically poisoning us and dumbing us down and changing us on a molecular, a cellular level, on a DNA format, DNA platform. And this is not a conspiracy, people. This is fact. This is what they're doing. In the next few years, 50% of all children born are going to be autistic. 50%, guys. It's 1 out of 2. 1 out of 2 children. 50%.
They want to have it.
And they said there's babies in the world.
They want it to where we pretty much go to a fertilization association that says, "Oh, well, you guys are, You're clean. Your genetics are fine. You guys can reproduce. They at the ultimate level, that is the eugenics program. They want to tell who can and cannot have children, and that's astounding. Like whenever Hillary came out talking about how being the first lady of the United States, how she can't wait to get her hands on our children, and how she can't wait to shape them. I'm like, are you what?
Wow.
What?
You're already projecting that you're going to have some kind of control over our children? You sick lady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And these are the same people that like to fire depleted uranium and watch the product of that with their children growing 3 heads and 2 legs and 5 legs and whatever.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
these are sick people. These are sick people.
He's right. That's what I'm saying, man. You're right, Robbie. That's why I'm like, this is terraforming. The only way, besides like the depopulation, the dehumanization, them mutating our DNA and this whole massive eugenics program, this is terraforming on a whole nother level.
Mm. Did you ever notice with Fukushima? Yeah. Before it happened, the actual company that was actually installing the security systems in that place was actually based in Israel. But nobody wants to talk about it. It's a conspiracy theory. Oh no! Quick, change the channel. There's something more exciting on. Oh look, a chemtrail. Look. Oh man.
Come on, Robbie. Dancing with Stars is on.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Oh! There's been another scandal at the Olympics. Oh, Argentina's getting divorced. Oh no, we can't.
Another shooting.
Yeah, let's not talk.
There's been another shooting. There's been another. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is all for distraction because, we keep saying, the stuff is happening. Guys, when you see something happening on the news, on the mainstream media news, you got to remember that this is a shell game to them. Whatever you see, the right hand is public. The right hand is what you see. But in the elite and in the occult, the left hand is known as the left path. It's known as the hidden hand. So you always have to look at what's going on. What is that hidden hand doing? And in this case, all this distraction is taking away from, one, the Hillary Clinton questions that we all seem to have that nobody can answer. 2, what's going on in Florida with this irradiated water entering into the water table, millions of people. 3, the situation happening up in the Dakotas with this pipeline coming through this Indian land. And 4, they want to take us away from what's happening in Syria, I think. So, there's so many different aspects that are going on while you're watching Brad and Angelina over here and Dancing with the Stars and the debates, the presidential debates, which are senseless anyways, because they already know who's going to win. This left hand over here is the important stuff, the stuff that you've got to watch, because this is the stuff ultimately that is going to come over, slap you in the back of the head, and you're going to wake up and you're going to find yourself in those FEMA camps.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Here's a conspiracy theory for you. And the mainstream media ain't going to talk about this one. And it only happened this week. Yeah. Russia fired a cruise missile, right, from a warship, right, and it hit a target in Aleppo, right. It killed 30 Israeli intelligence officers. It killed British intelligence officers, and there was intelligence officers, I think, from Saudi Arabia and maybe other countries, right? And people are starting to ask, why did they? What was going on? What were they doing there in Aleppo? Well, I'll tell you what they were doing in Aleppo. They were training ISIS fighters to go after Assad. But the mainstream media can't talk about that. And you know why? Because people will start asking questions. And you know what happens when people start asking questions? They ask more questions on top of that. And then and Russia's turned around and said, right, at the UN, we are under the total astonishment and that we believe that United States is actually protecting ISIS. We were saying that 2 years ago when they were calling us crazy conspiracy theorists, and now Russia seems to have caught up to the idea. Wow, can you believe it, eh?
Maybe it's that American charm, we just love to act like everything's normal. Like it's perfectly fine that we supply terrorists with arms. This is perfectly normal. Don't you want to have these people who eventually will develop hate come back to us and then blame us?
The sad part of that, EJ, is it is now perfectly normal. This is the norm.
Yeah, well, you remember when they committed 9/11 and they blamed it on Al Qaeda.
Right.
Yeah, but don't worry, they're back on the payroll now.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, so, back on the stories here. So, the company that was doing the pipeline up in the Dakotas has now ceased construction, correct?
I think so. Last that I had reported on it, but I think for all these other things that happen with these pipelines, I think that they're going to try to maybe figure out another way around it, because while the Dakota Access Pipeline situation was going on here in Albuquerque as well, they paid off some Native American people, some tribal people here. I think it was like to the tone of $2 million. I'm not sure. So I think, was this like kind of like a hush job money, like a payoff type of situation?
Well, the situation with the Native American Indians is the fact that all the ones that protest against anything were basically wiped out. Yeah, and the ones that were left were given all the rights to the casinos and whatnot, and they were paid off basically. So you've basically got, you've got a watered down version of the tribes, really, and they were given certain things. But at the same time, they've ended all the treaties now. They've said, right, all the treaties are gone. So let's see
why isn't Obama on the TV saying that we need to honor those treaties?
Right.
If you ask me, I think like with everything that we keep talking about, and I'm sure people are aware of the phrase now, the Overton window has drastically increased. Like what we put up with, the mindset that we're like having to come at problems with these days, it is completely different than it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
Right.
10 years ago. In my episode the other day, I was talking about, I came to the realization, I am a child of the police state. I'm a child of the post 9/11 police state.
Yeah.
That's like a crazy realization to think about, but it's like I live in America to where, look, dude, like I will be shot before I will be heard.
Right.
Quickly.
But they want that to be in place of the fact that really you're a child of the Most High. You're a Hebrew Israelite. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
They don't want you. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to wake up in the morning and know that. They want you to think that you're in the illusion that they've created.
Exactly.
Because Satan is the god of deception. He's the god of chaos.
Exactly.
Okay. He's the god of division. So of course, they don't want us opening up our eyes and realizing that there's a higher power at work here. Ultimately, whether it's we all know that we're in a fight right now. We're in a battle with principalities. Higher powers, and not even in this realm. Mm-hmm. So they don't want us to wake up and to realize, we've read the end of the book. We know how this ends.
Yep.
But unfortunately, they've got people so wrapped up in this chaos, in this drama, basically.
Well, that's, and I've talked about this on your show a few times before. Doing this kind of stuff, looking at it truly like with a realist mindset. Trying not to sound entirely crazy. Saying how CERN's creating portals to give these interdimensional spirits bodies, through synthetic biology, making all of this kind of stuff seem normal. Whenever you look at it with a realistic eye, it forces you to judge yourself. And I've talked about this on your show. It forces you to judge yourself. It forces you to step into the greatness that they keep telling you that you don't have. They keep telling you that you should have been aborted, you should die, go kill yourself, go die in a hole, you're a worthless, degenerate piece of filth. They would love to tell you this stuff until you're in the grave, but they'll never show you what it is one individual can accomplish.
No.
And that's the problem. is we don't step into the greatness that we have, that one individual has. And this is what happens when we do come together, when we do put our greatness to work and start realizing not only the time frame that we're in, the gifts that we've been endowed, and the things that we're supposed to do while we're here.
Yeah. And the thing is, they don't need CERN to open up dimensional portals and the demonic realm. Now they've
You're right.
got they've got weaponized bath salts. Oh yeah, let's put flak onto the market and let's see how them turn it into the zombie apocalypse. They are coming at us at all angles. Yeah, you know, if it ain't gonna do it one way, they'll try it. They go around the back door way. You know, it's absolutely disgusting how they're doing this. But you know, Satan's got a plot, but the Most High's got a plan. Yeah, so you know, you keep it coming.
Amen.
Go on, you keep it coming. Yeah, you can put as much fluoride into the water as you want. Go on, I'll drink bucket loads of it. It's not affecting me. It can't be, because I seem to be awake. You know, I do this stupid thing called thinking.
That's how that's really how I feel, is just like, whenever you start paying attention, you see how many different ways they're coming at you, you know, with the fluoride in the water, you know, all the lead in the tap water, you know, all the other crazy stuff that they're doing. Like, it's like when you take a step back, you snap out of the trance, you're just like, holy crap, this is a lot of stuff coming at me. I'm gonna take a breather, figure out how to work with all this, and then usually, you know, you either figure it out or you die. So
I don't think that people actually realise when we say about dumbing down, right? I don't think they realise the actual lengths that the elite have gone to dumbing people down. I watched a video a couple of weeks ago. It was they were showing what mercury does to a neuron, right? And how it basically it retreats. Yeah, once the mercury is actually introduced into that environment. Yeah, and that's what happens to your brain, right? the thing that's they can do anything to your body, yeah, but your brain is the most important function, right? And that's what they want to target, you know. And they do it through foods, they do it through the air, they do it through the water, right? They're coming at you at all angles, right? And the thing is, there's a lot of people out there that are not designed to wake up, right? They're never going to wake up no matter what. You could explain this to them in layman's terms as much as you want, right? But as far as they're concerned, you're talking gobbledygook, right?
yeah.
And that's a shame, really.
It's the sad truth. It really is.
It is.
I mean, like, it's well, that's why I'm like, you know, it's at a point now to where I feel like they can't hide what they're doing. I mean, you can literally look up and be like, hey, that's strange. These people should not be fighting in the middle of the street. Who convened all these people here? Or, wow, that's not a natural cloud. That doesn't make sense. Or, hey, I've had that orange in my refrigerator for 3 months now. Why hasn't it changed?
That McDonald's on my windowsill's been there 5 years and it still looks like it's ready to be eaten.
Right? And people just like can't see it. So it's just like,
well, they can't see it because they can't see it because of they can't see it because of the same things you're just talking about. They can't see it because of the chemtrails. They can't see it because of fluoridated water. They can't see it because of the GMOs. They can't see it because of the poison in their foods. You know, the reason why they can't see that stuff is for the same things that you're mentioning. You know, they're keeping us dumbed down. They're changing us. They're you know, in this day of information and how much technology we use, I think we're worse off now than we were back before we even had this technology. I think we were more awake then than we are now.
True. And you can definitely see it, you know, because, and this is what trips me out, is we're going on year 2 of doing this, and I feel like because of how I've invested my time and myself into all this, the show, Factions of Freedom, building the brand, doing all of this, you know, it's affected me real time. It's really had me change some things in my life and do a little bit of things differently. But
right.
it's like, because people can't see all the different things that are happening to them, or even want to change. That's what we got to look at, if you ask me, is a lot of what we're.
Well, you know, human beings don't like change. We are creatures of habit by nature. So the fact that, you know, I mean, come on. I happen to know a friend who he went away for a while, and well, okay, I'll be honest, he went to prison for a while. And when he got back out, and this was a while ago, this was like back in the 90s, he got out, and when he got out, everything had changed. There was now cell phones, there was now computers, there was now, I mean, all these technologies, and he was, I think to this day, he doesn't even have a cell phone. He doesn't have a computer. He doesn't have access to that because he's like, it's just all like sorcery to me, Lori.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he says, you know, and he doesn't like change, but by any nature to the human being, we're creatures of habit, you know. So them pushing this stuff on us, you know, does alter our personalities and does alter our minds.
And it's going to get worse now. Six of the major corporations, including Monsanto, have now formed, is now about to form into the biggest farming conglomerate the world has ever seen. Yeah, they not only want to farm, they not only want to poison your food, they want to actually farm it as well. Right? Yeah.
Good God.
Man, yeah. You know, this story is getting worse by the day. You know, I mean, it's right there in front. It's right there in front of your face. You know.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, they tell you, like we led in the episode discussing Agenda 2030. For like, if anything, that's what I keep telling people to go back and check. They're publicly telling you that they're going to establish world government by 2030. This is what they're looking for. So all the stuff that happens from now until 2030 is going to happen in accordance with this. I mean, over 100 countries signed the Paris Climate Accord saying, yeah, we're going to do this. China and America signed it. So if the two biggest consumers and producers signed it, you can bet there's going to be some effect globally. There's going to be some stuff changing, and that's exactly what we're seeing here. Is just like, is the new world order coming out to play? Is the new world order making its statement?
Right.
Like
exactly.
It definitely.
And you know, they're not hiding anymore. They're not hiding in the shadows anymore. We know that the man behind the curtain, we see this. You know, the veil has been torn, the veil has been thinned out. You know, we're beginning to see these things. They're to the point where they put it in everyday things. They put it in advertising, they put it on TV, they put it in our TV shows, they put it in the movies. You know, I know that they're required to, you know, telegraph their punches. They're required to tell us in advance what they're going to do. But my goodness, it's getting blatantly obvious to us. Even I think that people that aren't even awake are starting to go look at things and go, what the hell is that? You know? And they're trying to normalize the abnormal. I mean, look at the children's books now. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but I've noticed a couple of these children's books. They show the outside, it's the sky, and what's in there? Chemtrails.
Yeah, I did see a meme with that in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's craziness. They're trying to normalize the abnormal to make us, you know, to
desensitize us.
Yeah, to desensitize us to the realities of what's happening, you know, and it's working. It is working. It is completely and totally working. And I got to be honest with you guys, it breaks my heart because I see a lot of people that I previously thought were awake are now falling back to sleep.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's all part of the MK Ultra Monarch programming. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, you might want to escape the Matrix, but really, you're just escaping into the next Matrix. The whole thing is a charade. Yeah. And some people just can't handle it. Some, you know, some people think they're awake. Yeah. Do you know what you're really awake to? Yeah. Do you wake up every day and constantly remind yourself, yeah, that you're in an illusion? Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, we've been brought up to believe that we grow, we're born, we go to school for whatever, how many years. Yeah. We have a career, we get married, we buy a house. Yeah. We go on holiday, we retire, and then we follow,
die. We just go through the steps.
Nope.
Emotions, yeah, and yeah, and but you know, once you actually, you know, people go through life thinking, you know, what's my purpose in life? You know, what is there? Is there more? Is there anything more to this? Yeah. Once you're awake, you actually realize what the actual purpose is. The fact that we are we're living in a different world than what, say, it was 100 years ago, or maybe 1,000 years ago, right?
How many times have I said, I don't recognize this country anymore. I don't recognize the country, the America that I live in. This wasn't the America that I was born into. This wasn't the America that I grew up in, and it's certainly not the America that it was 5-10 years ago.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
All
mean,
by design.
and it is. I mean, it's incremental. And so I'm like, I grew up in the post 9/11 police state,
Mhm.
and I can see the evidence of that. And that's just with crooked cops, with the police state, police brutality on the rise. And so it's like whenever you look at what's already happened and where things are kind of going, the only thing you really can do is just step up, either step up or get out of the way, because there are people that have laid their lives down to tell us this information, to try to avert
Right.
this. That's why I feel like, to some degree, we still have a lot of freedoms that they want to try to restrict. That's why they're coming at it in the way they are, is because we have woken up to these injustices, to these types of things that are going on a global scale, and that's why they're trying to shut it down, is because we are unifying. We're growing.
Speaking of shutting it down, do you have any information on what's happening on October 1st with the UN taking over the internet?
I do not yet. I've not looked into that much. I just wanted to get that out there.
It's coming.
Yeah,
I
have looked into it a little bit. It doesn't really look like as bad as people are making it out to be. From what I could tell right now, it's only going to affect possibly some, not all IP addresses. I don't know. I'm still looking into it, but I don't think it's going to be a complete takeover of the internet. So I think, once again, this is just fear-based propaganda they're putting out there. But I mean, I could be wrong, but from preliminarily looking at it right now, I don't think it's going to be as bad as people are making it out to be.
Well, let's pray on that anyway. I mean, I mean, with all the distractions, I mean, Black Lives Matter. Forget about that. The elite are more interested in black chemtrails matter. Yeah,
Right.
they're thinking on greater levels.
As believers, I mean, we know that all lives matter, not just black lives, not just white lives, not purple with pink polka dot lives, but every life matters. And all of these fabricated, manufactured situations that we're seeing right now in the mainstream media, they're all bought and paid for by Soros and Move.org.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, look at the people in Charlotte. Okay, the people that got arrested in Charlotte on Wednesday and Thursday night, 70% of those people had out-of-state IDs. They didn't even live or reside in Charlotte. They were bussed in. I showed you guys the video yesterday. of the guy with the hugs, and the woman that he was yelling and screaming at. He says, this isn't how we do it. We're going to do it peaceful. She says, that's not what we're paid for. That's not what we're paid to do. I showed you guys that video, people that are watching. We went through that, and I put it out there for you guys. So I mean, here it is. We know that Soros, Dennis Michael Lynch, DML, he's even blowing the trumpet on this. He's putting out articles right now saying that Soros is paying for these injustices happening in these cities right now in Charlotte. And he was a presidential candidate in 2014. He was going to run for president. So if he's saying that, and if he's putting that information out there, guys, you got to know. You got to take a step back and you got to look at
it.
That's what makes covering the whole Black Lives Matter. And I think this is how they plan this, really, the psychology behind it. Talking about the injustices that the African American faces here in America, this is definitely not the way to do it. But they scripted it to where Black Lives Matter, with the truth that could be spread with that organization, it's just causing chaos. It is part of the destabilization campaign.
But they needed to do that. They need to, it's a COINTELPRO. Yet again, they need to control the narrative, and they need to distract with the half truth. Yeah, because they can't. Listen. They do not want a population of black people waking up realizing that they are the true Hebrew Israelites. Yeah,
true.
Right. Because if they do that, it's a wrap. It is a done deal. So at the end of the day, they'll change the narrative. They'll distract you with Black Lives Matter, and then this week it's hashtag Black iPhones Matter. Yeah, it's just like they don't want you they don't want that population of people waking up. They don't want white race waking up and realize they're being systematically genocided. Yeah, you know, they don't want the another race of people waking up, because if everybody all wakes up all at the same time and realizes that they're being played, they are being sold a bill of goods that is faulty. Yeah, it's return to sender. You know, game over for the elite.
I came across something I thought was very interesting yesterday, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, "A single bee is ignored, but when a million bees come together, even the bravest run in fear. One thing the elite fear is the day we all stand together."
Yeah.
Sounds like a bug's life.
It sounds like a bug's life, doesn't it? Yeah, but it's true. One bee stands up, you know, nobody takes really, you know, like you flick it away, you think, whatever. But, you know, a million bees come at you and you're definitely going to take notice to that. So we need to be that million, we need to be the group that gets together and we're that million bees, you know?
Yeah. Well, I
think
there was a story of the 40,000 bees that followed a car for 6 days because there was a queen bee trapped in the car. Yeah. You know,
I saw that.
Yeah, there's an analogy right there.
I saw that. Yeah. So, you know, we've brought some, you know, kind of, you know, not very good news to people today, but on a plus note, on a note that, you know, is uplifting. The date is September 24th, and no asteroid hit yesterday, guys.
Oh,
another asteroid?
What?
For the third year in a row, September 23rd. It started out September 23rd, 2014, when there was supposedly this asteroid coming to Earth. Then that didn't happen. So then last year, September 23rd, you know, another asteroid was coming, and it happened again this year. And I have a theory on it, because next year, 2013 or 2017, September 23rd, there is going to be the astrological alignment in the sky that's going to look like, or possibly be, Revelation 12. That they've done this 3 years in a row to discredit those of us that are going to start blowing the trumpet on this date. So,
well,
you know, yeah.
Didn't Pope Francis come to America the 23rd?
Yeah.
Last year?
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, and there was a lot of speculation on things that were going to happen, but, you know, yeah, if, you know, for 3 years now, this is the third September 23rd that this supposed asteroid was going to hit. You know, so
I hope next time
I think it was designed.
Sorry. I hope next time
I think it was designed to discredit those of us that are going to blow the trumpet for next year.
I hope next time Pope Francis comes over to the States, his plane smashes on the top of the firmament. You know, just to give him a bit of a headache and a wake up.
The Pope doesn't come here very often, so we're good. He doesn't really, and he's getting old too, so maybe he won't be showing his face again.
Don't tell me he's got brain cancer as well after visiting Obama.
The Pope is the main proponent, if you ask me. I feel like he's charioting this new world order agenda so fierce. Like he doesn't even cover it up.
Yeah, he's pushing for the one world religion. He just left Jerusalem, and he did that whole trying to, you know, we all worship the same God, and, you know, all this other crap. You know, he needs to remember.
Having a personal relationship with Jesus is dangerous.
It's dangerous, yeah. Right. He needs to remember that Jesus didn't come here to bring peace. He came to bring division. He came to bring the sword. You know, so yeah, I think Pope and Frank, or Pope and, what does the people call
Frank
him?
And Pope.
Pope and Frank.
Frank and Pope. I think Frank and Pope. You know, and then to say that Jesus failed on the cross. That was what he said last year when he came here on the 23rd last year in Philadelphia. He said that he felt that Jesus failed his mission on the cross. How dare him? Seriously, how dare you take away the final sacrifice, the final sacrificial lamb, what he's done for us? You know, I have no respect for him, not to mention that we're to call no man on earth father. So, you know.
Evil. That's all I got is evil.
Evil.
The thing is, these people, right, don't even know that they're evil. They actually think they're doing good. Think they're doing good. They you know, as I heard it before somewhere, You know, these people don't get up in the morning and think, ha, I'm going to do evil today. And look in the mirror. What are we going to do today then?
I don't know.
Well, we're gonna exterminate 30,000 people with this new chemical that we got. Oh, great! No, they actually think they're doing great because they are spiritually blinded, right? They are in the hands of the ultimate evil one, yeah, which is Satan. Oh, I'm sorry. He likes to call himself Lucifer these days, but he lost that title a very long time ago. Let me tell you, yeah. They've got no clue what they're doing. In fact, some people, that are in this system, this pyramidical system of the New World Order, yeah, they're just like a link in the chain, yeah. Because at the end of the day, when you've got a pyramid, yeah, and you've got 4 sides of a pyramid and a bottom, yeah, one side doesn't know what the other side is doing. Yeah, that's how
Again,
it works.
left hand, right hand. Exactly, left hand, right hand. Absolutely, absolutely.
Somebody's getting stepped on. That's how chain of command works.
Yep, exactly. They look at us, we're the useless bottom feeders, we're the useless eaters. We're the ones that are going to be expendable. I mean, you look at the Georgia Guidestones, people say, oh, it's not written in stone. Well, yeah, it kind of is. You look at the Ten Commandments of the elite, 10 Commandments of the New World Order. Number 1 is of 500 million. If you look and you do the math, guys, that's 90% of the population needs to be killed off one way or another, whether it be that through vaccination, GMOs, chemtrails, or nuclear war, or whatever kind of war, conventional war, no matter what it is. It's 90% of the population.
Yeah.
So, it's not a question of if it happens, it's a question of when it happens.
When and how.
Well, we've been looking at, when we look at on the timeline, I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on. Robbie and I talked about this the other day with you guys. We told you guys, the next big event we believe to be will probably be the destruction of Damascus, as in Isaiah 17, and then possibly the Gog and Magog, Ezekiel 37 and 38. So I mean, these things are posturing. These things are happening. We need to keep an eye on these things. Stop going. Put away Dancing with the Stars. Put away CNN, put away Fox News. So you're not going to get anything off of that, because they're not going to tell you. Dave watches the news all the time, and he says, look, isn't it amazing? He goes, nothing happened over in Russia today. Nothing happened over in Israel today. Nothing happened over in Syria today. He goes, the only thing that we're ever told about is the crap that's going on in this country, and we know that 100% of it is false. It's fake.
Yep, absolutely.
There's to a point now to where I don't even... I don't even monitor mainstream feeds. I literally get all of my information from alternative sources. Yeah. And that's how I'm monitoring like the whole internet censorship. Like if the quality of the content, what I cover, like if that degrades and more information doesn't come out and I'm not able to correlate it through other sources, that's whenever I know some form of censorship will have occurred. Like whenever the other people who are out there who have their own tactics and their own ways of acquiring information, if their information is trimmed down or watered down in any way, shape, or form, that's whenever I'll know that this censorship has affected us in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So, I mean, the next 44 days are going to be definitely something to watch. Are you guys going to be watching the debates on Monday?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I love I mean, at the end of the day, it's proper.
Well, eat a small meal. Eat light, so it doesn't upset your tummy. Eat light, and have your garbage bag next to you because I think we're going to need it. So somebody told me that Jennifer Flowers is going to be there. Do we have a confirmation on that, or is this just rumor?
Jennifer Flowers, educate me.
Jennifer Flowers had the affair with Bill Clinton. I heard that. I heard that Trump was bringing Jennifer Flowers, and she's going to be sitting in the front row. That might be just a rumor. I don't know.
Oh my God.
But Kristen in the chat room just asked if we can watch it as a group. Absolutely. Why don't we do that?
That would be good to have like a commentary of the debates.
Yeah, I think we'll do that. How about Monday night? We all meet back here and I will play the live feed of the debate, and we'll watch it together. We'll go into the chat room. I'll actually be in the chat room with you guys, and we'll chat it up, and we'll try to make light of this situation as best we can.
I mean, with Hillary Clinton's Parkinson's disease, that makes her go cross-eyed, and at the end of the day, Bill Clinton's got a case for saying that she's seeing someone else.
She is her doctor.
That's corny. That's corny. Or is that corny? Yeah.
Corny.
No, it's true. Corny.
What's
See what you did
there. Funny is he flipped. He slipped the other day at the interview, and he said that she works like a demon. Hillary.
Little Freudian slip.
It was a Freudian slip. It sure was, wasn't it? Jeez. Absolutely. So I think that Monday night, EJ, you bring the tacos.
Yes.
Popcorn.
And it's Margarita Monday, so I'll bring the tequila.
Yeah, you just make sure that those flip flops are glued down to the floor.
If we've learned anything over these last few months, is you never let anybody live stream and drink. So I promise I will be able. Anyway, so any final this was great talking with you guys. You've brought us some great information, EJ, and I'm going to actually do a little bit of research here. If you can send me some links over, I will put them in the description below, and we'll keep an eye on this, definitely. If you get any breaking news for this Florida situation, because I know that the information coming out of there is pretty sketchy right now. So.
Right, I'm still trying to figure out whether or not they're going to report more on the state of emergency, what that entails, if they're going to do any actual cleanup operation, and just how bad Florida's getting hit, man.
Pretty much. I mean, if it's in the water table, if it's in the water supply, they can't really do too much to take that out. I mean, I think we need to look at the research on how they can decontaminate this entire water supply.
They would have to create like an entirely different water treatment facility so it doesn't contaminate like the already existing water supply that's there. Like they would have to figure out like a whole new protocol to filter out and distill all the different chemicals that could be there. I mean, I'll be watching.
Oh, exactly. So anyways, so final thoughts, guys. Robbie, final thoughts.
Well, I'll give a little bit of news from the UK, actually. Contest with, on face value is an anti-establishment person. He doesn't like the Queen. He doesn't like the establishment. The establishment have been going against him. Well, the Labour leadership contest today, and they defranchised 250,000 people, to not vote for him. He still won with a landslide of 61-point-something%, and they're not happy about it at all, So he won today, I just thought I'd give that little bit of good news. And Liverpool beat the whole 5-1 off all that.
Who knows what that's about? There's always some kind of technical issue whenever these types of things occur. But I would just like to say thank you guys for tuning into this mirrored episode of 3 Minutes to Midnight. If you want the original episode, you can actually go back to Lori's channel, the Underground Resistance Network channel on YouTube, and see the episode over there. With that being said, stay vigilant, expose lies, and share truth. This is Noisera, Freedom Faction.